Hi everyone. This week I'm with Stephen Sade, and he's the Manager of Student Wellbeing and Learning for the whole of the system. Stephen's had a lot of experience in terms of wellbeing for our students, and we just might learn a little bit about Stephen and where he came from.
Thanks, Tony. I was an English, history and religion teacher originally, and then I retrained in psychotherapy and clinical family therapy, and have a great interest in the whole area of positive psychology.
Stephen, we're going to be talking about 5 strategies for keeping young people safe, and that's trusting your instincts, knowing who can help, acting immediately, following through, and we're going to be talking about an attitude which is about this too shall pass. So let's start with trusting your instincts. How can a parent who's concerned about their child trust their instincts?
I often say to parents, Tony, that they need to relax. If you look at the natural world, the animal kingdom, animals, they raise and nurture their young. Surely if animals can do it, we as human beings can relax a little bit and trust that our natural instincts will serve us well, and just believe that the strategies that you have and understanding of your own child or young person will get you through. It's really important to first and foremost check it out with the young person, but then also involve other people. And as the saying goes, it takes a village to raise a child. Yeah.
So Stephen, if I'm a parent, I'm trusting my instincts, I need to know who to go to help, don't I?
There was quite an extensive Australian study some years ago that identified 4 major points that young people said were really important for their own well-being. And those 4 points were peer connectedness, fitting in at school, feeling loved by your family to the point that they helped you understand yourself, and finally having somebody outside of the family an adult outside of the family who took a positive interest in you. And that those 4 things, I think, really drive our approach to the well-being of students in Sydney Catholic schools.
So as a parent, when you're thinking about how you can help your child, you have to think about not just what you can do and what might happen with the school or the teacher, but thinking about the broader family and social environment in which they're in.
Absolutely, because as I mentioned, the peer connectedness is so important. So know who your child is friends with, and know how they might be helped, and keep that safety. That idea of having an adult outside of the family is crucial, and so often teachers and support personnel in schools actually fit that role.
You then suggest that they should act immediately. Could you just explain that for us?
Acting immediately is really important, because if you or one of your colleagues identifies that there may be a problem, you don't want to wait. The important thing is to say discuss with the school, maybe first and foremost, get their impressions. But then, if it's serious enough, to approach a GP and perhaps get that mental health plan. You may or may not be aware that parents can get a mental health plan through a GP for Medicare funded sessions, and that can be crucial in getting the professional support that young people may need if they're really struggling.
Is acting immediately sometimes as simple as being a little more vigilant and watching a little more closely?
Yeah, it's very important to act immediately, because if you have information or others alert you to possible concerns, it's really important to check them out with your child, young person, and perhaps check it out with the school. What information does the school have? And then if it really does raise alarm bells, you may or may not be aware that you can go to the GP, get a mental health plan, and there are Medicare funded sessions with a mental health practitioner, a mental health professional, that can take it to the next level and ensure that the young person is safe.
Okay, so, and sometimes acting immediately can be just keeping a closer eye on things, can't it?
Absolutely. Of just watching for those warning signs. Even people, you may have a number of children, and your children might be quite different in their personalities. But if you see a dramatic change in that behaviour, if your very outgoing child is now sullen and quiet, reserved, or conversely, the very quiet child is a little bit acting a little bit almost manic. They're the kind of warning signs that you might want to check out and really increase the vigilance.
Okay, so if someone's acted immediately in relation to a particular concern they have with their child, you talk about following through. What do you mean when you say that?
By following through, I mean by sharing that information where it needs to be shared, as I've touched on, but also not thinking, well, I've raised that concern with the school, or I've got that mental health plan I mentioned. But often from that, the school will have really important information. When you think about it, your child spends 6 hours a day at school. The teachers and support staff know your child quite intimately, and their insights can be really important. So the information they're giving you, the information that you might have having, say, pursued a psychologist, there'll be a report. Share that with the school. It's so important that we share the information and we don't just think that a crisis is over and well, I have that psychologist report, but I'll just tuck that away in a drawer. And the school is then trying to support your child and trying to do everything they can to keep their child safe. And sometimes information not being shared can be quite crucial.
So interestingly, Stephen, you talk about the last strategy, and it's we hear so much about the overwhelming statistics and the concerns, the prevalence of mental health issues in our community, and particularly with our young people. But your advice on the last one is about this too shall pass.
Yeah, absolutely, Tony. I mentioned I was a history teacher. Throughout the centuries, human beings have overcome extraordinary difficulties, absolutely extraordinary difficulties. We know about the Holocaust, we know about concentration camps. I think of my own parents. They lived through the Great Depression. They were both in the British Navy. They both saw service. They then raised a large family, and all the troubles and the challenges that go with that. My 96-year-old mum is full of life and a wicked sense of humour, and I think she's typical of many of that generation that learned to roll with the punches and accept that life has challenges. Let's face it, loss and grief is part of the fabric of life. We all have challenges. It's a matter of learning how to overcome those challenges and knowing when to seek help.
That's a beautiful way to end the discussion. Thank you, Stephen. This too shall pass. We have to be off. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tony.
And thank you, and we'll see you next week. God bless.